In part 1 of the Unit 5 notes, we will be covering alchemy. Alchemy was an early precursor to chemistry, which had spiritual and religious connections. The primary goals of alchemists were transmutation, which means changing common metals such as lead into rare metals like gold, and discovering a means for immortality. Alchemists consisted of both scholars and charlatans. A charlatan is a person falsely claiming to have a special knowledge or skill. Alchemists used symbols, code words, and drawings to describe their experiments and findings in secretive and hidden ways. This is opposed to what we would do in modern science with the symbols on the periodic table, which is being used in order to communicate information to scientists around different parts of the world. Here, this is being used to hide information. So in the table on the right, you can see some examples of the symbols that were used for elements such as gold, potassium, or antimony. Pictures like the one shown on the left were also used to show how a chemical reaction might have proceeded. Alchemists attempted to create a substance called the philosopher's stone. It was believed that this substance would allow for the transformation of any base metal into gold, and could be used to create an elixir of longevity, or something that would allow you to live forever. It was described as a heavy red, waxy substance, but there is no evidence to suggest that such a thing ever actually existed. In the 4th century BC, the main emphasis of alchemy in China was on the search for human immortality, called Huaidong. Alchemists experimented with mercury, sulfur, and arsenic. They sometimes created poisonous potions, and several emperors died after drinking them. In the 8th century, sulfur and saltpeter, which is potassium nitrate, were combined with charcoal to create an explosive called hyo, or gunpowder. Hyo was used to treat skin diseases and as a fumigant to kill insects before its advantage as a weapon was made clear. Ancient Egyptians believed that preserving a corpse could ensure a safe journey into the land of the dead. Embalming bodies became a practice carried out by the most skilled priests within the civilization using chemical preparations. Egyptian alchemists also created glass by fusing sand, soda, which is sodium carbonate, and lime, which is calcium hydroxide. Greek alchemists placed an emphasis on perfect metals, which were less likely to react, such as gold and silver. They believed that disease was an imbalance of the body's chemical system and should be treated with chemicals to restore balance. While an elixir of longevity was never created, they were able to increase their understanding of medicine and the use of drugs and treatments. The process of distillation was also used in ancient Greece to create perfumes and essential oils. Persian alchemists Geber, Raz, and Avicenna developed techniques later used in science, including filtration, distillation, and crystallization. Geber wrote how to create and purify acids, such as nitric, hydrochloric, and sulfuric acid, as well as aqua regia, which could be used to dissolve gold. Raz classified new substances and documented his experiments. Many alchemical terms from this time period are still used in chemistry today, such as the term alkali, used to describe alkali metals. For our checkpoint here, we are going to start off by describing two of the primary goals of alchemists. The first of which is transmutation. Remember that transmutation means that you are creating gold from more common metals, such as lead. Another primary goal of alchemists was finding a way to live forever, or immortality. So these were two goals that were common during alchemy in different parts of the world and during different time periods. For number 2, we are looking for the purpose of drawings in alchemical texts. Our purpose here was to hide the true meaning of the notes. So unlike in modern science, where experiments would be shown to other scientists and they would be repeated in order to ensure that everything is correct, alchemists were very secretive in what they were doing, and they didn't want other other alchemists to be able to repeat their experiments. For number 3, name 3 important discoveries made by alchemists. You have a number of options here, the first of which would have been a discovery that was made in ancient China, which would have been gunpowder. In Egypt, they found a way to create glass. In ancient Greece, they found a way to create essential oils and perfumes. You could also say that within our Islamic alchemy slide, they found a way to create acids, and they also came up with some techniques that are still used in modern science, such as filtration, distillation, and crystallization. That concludes part 1 of the Unit 5 notes. When we come back for part 2, we will be covering the organization of the elements.